Hi, I'm Jason Fowler with LeafFreak.com again, and today we're looking at the Perdomo Habano Corojo in Toro size. This is a 5.5 by 54 ring gauge cigar. It can be found anywhere from $5.50 probably to $7 depending on your brick and mortar. It's a Nicaraguan Puro, simply meaning that the binder, filler, and wrapper are all from Nicaragua. The wrapper is a Corojo, that's why it's called a Corojo. Construction-wise, it's got a nice double cap. The base cap kind of extends down the side of the stick a little bit more than you normally see, but it looks good. Nice, dense, tight pack with moderate veins. Really tight, good-looking seams though. No issues there. There's maybe one or two black spots. I'm not real sure what those are, just probably characteristics of that particular wrapper. It's a lumpy surface under there. It's dull and kind of dry, almost a paper-like texture. The foot is kind of cool. It shows off maybe 2 or 3 of those blended fillers because of the different colors in there. I'm sure you can't see it on the camera there, but the band, one of my favorites. I believe that bands on cigars are an important part of the presentation. I think it's artwork, it really is, and it's an opportunity for these companies to kind of show off a little bit. And this one is one of the most ornate you're going to see. It's got a foot band and a normal large band at the top. Some people aren't really into that, but it's ornate without being gaudy, and it really is a beautiful, beautiful band. So, pre-light aromas, it's like pungent earth, and a little bit of sweetness in there. So we'll get this cut up and see how it smokes, and I'll report back here in a few with what I got. Oh, right away, very bold, robust, thick flavors. A lot of just very musty earth, leather, a lot of spice. Not a whole lot else. Maybe a little bit of sweetness that lingers in that very, very long finish. Very long. Very tight draw. I'm hoping that actually loosens up a little bit. Interesting note, the foot wrapper that you had saw looks like it was covering something. If I would have known it, would have seen it without that foot wrapper on there, I probably would have picked a different one at the store, but it was torn in a couple little spots, almost like it's pre-flowering, you know, where it kind of like blows up a little bit. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see how it goes, but other than that, a decent start, and we'll check back in a few with an update. All right, we're about 15 minutes in or so, and a very full flavored cigar. It's remained full flavored. Its flavors have calmed a little bit. There's some smooth woody notes in there with a little bit of a peppery spice. The finish is super long. It continues to be super long. It almost leaves a parched sensation on your palate, your tongue. I've had to drink quite a bit of water here, but very intense upfront flavors. Not terribly complex, but you know, very flavor forward. I mean, there's no doubt about what you're getting. The ash has been terrific, despite those early, you know, there were some tears in the foot that I had mentioned. Those have not been a problem at all. It's been nice and strong, bright, light gray. I'm gonna stop just short of calling it white, but the ash looks good. A little bit of flowering there, and no big deal at all. So we'll keep going and we'll check back in a few. All right, an update. We're well into the second third here, and we're probably about the 40-minute mark, 35, 40-minute mark, something like that. Up front is still those woody flavors. Those have continued to hang around. There's a subtle sweetness that's there that's nice. The cigar has actually really kind of started to get more into my wheelhouse, so I just found it to be a little bit, I don't know, run-of-the-mill as far as flavors go, a lot of typical tobacco flavors, but they're very strong, and if you're into that sort of thing, it's definitely along those lines. The draw is still a little tight for my liking. I'd like for it to loosen up. It still hasn't, probably won't at this point. I think it's just due to that really dense, firm pack, and even the head looks like it's, I don't even know how smoke is getting through it. It looks like it's packed so tight. So despite that, there's been plenty of thick smoke. The ash performance, other than in the past 10 minutes or so, has been fine. It's been actually good. It's starting to get a little sideways there. It's probably going to require a little bit of a correction on my part here in a few. Not a big deal though. And despite that tight draw, there's been tons of smoke. So performing pretty well. So we'll continue on here and we'll give you an update in a few. All right, as an update, we're at about the hour mark and still going pretty strong. We probably got another 25 minutes, 30 minutes into this probably. Flavors have stayed relatively consistent and the same. The one difference is they've mellowed considerably. Construction, the draw is also loosened up a little bit, so that's a good plus. I think it's probably not due to getting by a stem or anything as much as it is just there's less real estate to draw through where we're at now. So ash has been okay. It's not been razor sharp the entire stick, but it's actually relatively straight right now. It did require a couple of minor touch-ups. For the most part, it's been hassle-free. So we'll see how long we can go here, and I'll give you a final wrap-up here in a few. All right, we're about an hour and 15 minutes in, and I'm probably going to be putting this down because it's warming up a little bit too much for me. Not only that, but my fingers are starting to get a little burnt. But, you know, the Perdomo line and brand company has always kind of represented good value in cigars, and Nick Perdomo is really easy to like. He's got a great social sense about him. He's on Twitter and posts a lot, and it's fun to watch. This cigar, it's kind of a dilemma because it's priced super well. It's a great value, but it doesn't have, it's like an everyday cigar, but it doesn't have everyday cigar-like taste. And when I say that, I mean it's very, very full-bodied and robust and bold, and it's not something you're going to want to smoke on a regular basis, more than likely, unless these flavors are something that you know, that's what you want every time. I like it. It's performed pretty well despite the draw issues. And in all fairness, I've had these before, and if anything, they usually run on a draw being a little too loose. So this may just be an anomaly. That's kind of what it seems like to me. So it is a good value. It's something you should probably check out. And there is a way to fine tune it if it's not quite your flavor profile. They also offer the same stick in a Connecticut wrapper and a Maduro wrapper. Now, this is probably the most bold of all three. The Connecticut wrapper is going to be a little buttery and a little more creamy, just like most Connecticut wrappers are. The Maduro is going to be a little sweeter and probably have some cocoa. I haven't actually had it, but I'm guessing, and from what I've read, that's the typical flavor profile of it. So you can always adjust to your taste. So I'm Jason Fowler with LeafFreak.com. Check out our Twitter and Facebook page, and if you had this cigar, let me know what you thought about it. And we will see you next time. Make sure you keep the hot end out.